Today's episode's a big one. It's all about pricing jobs. Roll intro. Now, there's many types of pricing models. Some people like hourly, some people go project-based, and some people do value-based pricing, which we'll talk about in a bit. But, you know, what's your thoughts on the first one being hourly?
Hourly charging, I think it's not used a lot in our industry on like a professional level. I think people coming into the industry from, say, like a 9 to 5 or any kind of other job, potentially would be having that as a focus. Oh yeah, I get paid hourly, or that's how a salary is calculated, or something like that.
Sure.
Whereas in here, it's generally done off day rate or value based or something like you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's kind of, if you kind of price yourself at per hour, and then you get better at it, and you're still the same price per hour, you kind of then, in essence, are being paid less for being better and more efficient at your job. And when it's, especially per hour, it can reduce dramatically as you get better and better.
Yeah,
and better.
I think
you get a sting, don't you? Really?
Yeah, I saw one like one of these, not memes, but these things like, you don't pay me for my time, you pay me for my the skills that I've learned over years, right? So, you know, I guess that, like you say, you can punish yourself if you become good, because you know, at the end of the day, if you're doing a job in 2 hours because you're good, like you say, you're losing that. You could lose out big time.
Yeah,
it's okay, mate. I'll make it last 8 hours then.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's it.
So, I mean, you're right. I don't see, the only time I ever talk about hourly is when it goes over scope.
Yeah, that's good.
So for me, if they say, right, you know, it's X amount per day, but that's for 8 hours, say, for example, that's kind of how I judge it, you know. And or actually another one is if it's revisions. So I give clients 3 rounds of revisions per project, per video. But I say that anything outside of that is charged at X amount per hour. So I think for me, that's the only time I talk about hourly.
It's not just like a flat, well, it is a flat fee, but in the sense of what, for me, in what is incorporated into that is, it's an hourly rate based off a work that you're doing at that moment. So normally hourly work within a 9 to 5 is on the fact of you're doing 9 to 5, 5 days a week, that's your hourly rate.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Could potentially be just an average rate. Whereas when it's hourly, it's because, but in our industry, or in the way we look at it, it's a higher rate per hour, but that's because it's essentially not a consistent workload of 9 to 5 or something like that, and it's generally extra. Yeah. So there's,
to avoid them giving you any work.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So that it's I wouldn't say it's a penalty, but it's something that can then, they are then aware of, well, it's going to cost extra to do this and to do that.
So if it's a 2-day job and it's, say, $2,000, you know, then you're kind of thinking, well, you split that between 16 hours, for example, and that's your hourly rate. That's kind of how I charge it, plus a bit more, like you say. So
yeah,
it's not over a week.
No, yeah,
hours.
that's it.
My way, or the highway. No, my way for pricing jobs is project based. You know, I chat with the client, see what it is they want. I take into consideration, you know, distance from the job. Is there any kit to rent? You know, any overnight stays, you know, if it's, you know, generally for me, I think about anything that's more than 3.5 hours away, I'm getting a night before. So maybe hotel and anything like that, you know, and then looking at the editing time, etc. And I always do like a flat fee. So I do it on the project. So for instance, if I think it's going to be a day's shoot and a day's edit, then I base it roughly on a price what I want my minimum to be per day.
See, it's funny now because we had this conversation, and I now get what you say. We had this conversation off camera, didn't we, about the difference between project and value based. And I was like, but project, that's value based. And my interpretation of it was different to you. I see what you're saying now, because how this then links to a day rate for me.
Yes,
so,
kind of. Yeah.
If that so is the total project amount, but you take into consideration like
what you want per day.
Yeah.
Plus all the others.
Yeah. So how to me, how I am the same now. See, because I was like, well, I'm a day rate person. I am, but I'm not. I'm project person.
Yeah.
But to get my total for the project that I then
You think
give that
about
on the
your
quote,
day.
I think right then. So, like I say, it'll be a day shoot, 2 days edit, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
However, to calculate that, I've got a day rate of X amount times 3.
Yeah.
Then I take into travel,
Yeah.
equipment costs, like other stuff to then get that total project cost.
But the thing that you've changed recently after I sort of chatted about it with you, and I think you still, but is, yes, you've got that day rate in your mind, but you don't tell the client that.
That's it.
You
Yes,
just
yes.
give them the project.
Yeah.
So say
That's what I'm getting at. Exactly
it's like
what I mean.
they want, you know, like for me, it's a property shoot or whatever. And just say, for example, you go, right, that's $1.5 grand. Mm-hmm. That's what I give them.
Yeah.
I don't go, oh, it's 500 this, it's 500 that, my travel's this. I don't itemize anything. They get one figure because I used to go, well, it's a day for this, a day for that, and they go, well, it's not going to take 8 hours.
Yeah.
We'll do it in 6. What's the price for that? And you're like, nah. So I stopped that, and now it's like the flat fee. And since I've done that, no one tries to dig into it because there's like these tangibles that they go, oh, well, it's not going to cost you £100 in travel like costs, or it's, you know, they've got little things they can pick at, and I'm like, nah, that's now I just do a flat fee.
Because I was very much like that, and I'm sure we had another conversation where I was like, oh, they keep knocking me down, or it's kind of annoyed me because they're picking that apart, but they don't understand the value of that or how much it actually costs me, something like that. And then you were very firm on just give them a price and that what it is. I still, like you say, use my calculator, my head calculator. Oh, right, well, what is involved in it? It's X amount, and that it is works up, and then that total figure has made a world of difference to go, right, that's how much it costs, and then that's the price, and that is the price.
Yeah, I think I did it. There was a regular client of mine, and I kind of never really put the travel costs in like separate. And I think for some reason, I put that as a separate on the itemized on the invoice, and they questioned it. And I'm like, well, okay, I just won't do that again. I'll just give them the price that's that included.
Yeah.
And someone said to me they don't want to see a list of items. Just tell me what it is.
Yeah.
And they obviously say yes or no, right? Mm-hmm. And then sometimes they ask for discounts.
Yeah.
So what do you do if someone says, "Can you do it any cheaper?" What's your line?
Yes, I'll knock 50% off, no problem.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly. Well, let me look at my bank balance.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, all right, I'll knock a bit off.
I haven't got any jobs in the next 2 weeks, so sure. Do you want me to do it? Yeah, 20%?
No, you don't. Don't do that.
No. I still do, to be honest with you. And every single it gets me because a lot of it is just trying their luck, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And they're just like trying their luck, and then away you go, which is inevitable because I'm probably guilty of that when the shoe's on the other foot. Isn't it?
You mean with like, oh yeah, can you haggle? I love a haggle.
Just like,
but I get really annoyed when someone does it to me.
I'm like, do I not know who I am? Do you know?
This is a business, not a charity.
It's a horrendous. I think there's a time and a place where there isn't a discount. A lot of it depends on. Inevitably, it's going to be like, how much do you want the work? How busy you are? How much you're going to enjoy the work?
Yeah, and there's a few factors.
There's 2 things, but generally, like what you say is right in that. Generally, you have to be quite firm on no. There is no discount. Oh, but one thing you've been leaning to as well is like you do give a discount, but when it's on guaranteed repeat work or retainers and that stuff.
Yeah, so that kind of leads into retainers a little bit. The only time if they come to me, right, say I quote 1,200 quid on a job, and they go, yeah, it's a little bit over budget. What can we do? And I was like, well, say they want photos, video, drone, and some vertical reels or whatever. I think the best thing you can do is just cut back on what you give them rather than lower your price and give them the same. Yeah. So that's something you can do. And that's something I've discussed. Or, like I said, retainers. And I'll just generally go, if you want to do a video a month, I can offer you, a reduction there. Or with my property guys, when they're on a project, I say to them, if you give me commit to 3 visits through the project, so beginning, middle, and end, I'll give you 10% off. And they commit to that with a 50% deposit
And
on that job.
That's it, but that's paid up front, isn't it? So you will get 50% up
Of
front,
all three.
Yeah,
of
that's
those something
shoots.
I do. And I have a few clients that do that, and a few clients that have got 2 projects with that.
I think why not? Because if they have the plan and the intention of getting you in, then they get that discount, and it's booked in, it's done, it's dealt with, and then you just kind of invoice the remaining accordingly, don't you?
Or like some people do retainers, and they'll have a contract, won't they? And talk about that. But I don't think I've ever had a retainer, like not under contract, or maybe it's always been like with current client Adem Cheek. They're like, we want to do 12 videos over the next 12 months. I managed to, bring you in on helping with that, which has been mega,
hasn't it just?
And they just don't ask for a contract or anything; they just do it.
Yeah. I think it does depend on that relationship you've got with them as well, doesn't it? Really, and how you can kind of work that in.
Yeah.
Apart from retainers, like how do you deal with discount? Do you give discount other than that? No.
I said, you know what? Right, you could drop your price and get the job. And I know your attitude. Your attitude is like, well, I'm losing X amount of money if I don't drop to their budget. But I'm like, no, you're not losing it because you haven't got it.
Yeah.
But I see your point, right? You think, well, I could have this money.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't want to do a job less than what I want because, as you've experienced,
hopefully it's the right thing.
They'll come along and they'll go, oh yeah, can we just add this one more thing? And then when they say a little bit extra, and because you're doing it cheaper, you're thinking, and you've said this to me, cheeky buggers, like I'm doing them a decent price and they're adding on all these things, and you're like, you resent it.
But
if you paid what you feel you're worth, you don't mind doing extra.
Exactly. I have done that a lot. I do generally suffer a lot from, God, I want this job. Oh God, this would be good. So I do give more discount than I should.
Is that on a job that you really want, or is it just because you want the money though?
I always think that there's a next opportunity from a job.
Yes.
So I'm
that's true because one client can lead to another.
Yeah. I get very much like, oh, right then, so I need to try and win this job. I generally go in, especially now, priced fairly for what I am and quite firm on it.
You could be setting yourself up here, mate.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be like, if we just go lower, he'll take it anyway.
I am not doing that from now on. I'm going to learn from my mistakes.
Yes.
But there has been quite a lot of occasions where I've gone, oh, right then, well, maybe if we just knock that off now because that's that and that's that. But that's not that. But then it leads to a bit of resentment in the job because then I either ask for more or it's more than I anticipate it is, and then I haven't taken into account those natural extras that will naturally come, those extra conversations that will naturally come. That is time, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I haven't been paid enough.
Yeah,
but that's only my own doing.
I'm going to say if they're adding extra stuff, that's down to you to control that. And I think
when I mean extra stuff, I mean those natural ones. So not necessarily extra deliverables, but that extra conversation or that extra little bit of, can you just change that a little bit or something? Which I think there is a firmness on what your deliverables are or what you're meant to do on a job, but there is generally a little bit of flexibility, isn't there?
Yeah,
a little bit. You'll go, if I just want to do an extra reel, just one extra reel or something, you'll flex a little bit on it.
Just to keep them happy.
It's exactly that. Yeah. Whereas I then can resent that because I've already dropped the price. So that's my extra flex on the job. Yeah. And now I feel like they're asking for more when really they're not, but that's down to me.
Yeah, that's it. So basically, if you charge what you think you're worth, you don't mind those extra bits.
Exactly.
100%. I'm pretty strict. The way I look at it is, you can be a busy fool. If you can start knocking your prices down, you could be busier. But if you find that sweet spot of not everyone will convert, that's okay. But the ones that do convert will probably earn you more and you work less than dropping your price and working 7 days a week and then stressing and having no time to yourself.
Yeah, 100%. You enjoy the work more because you feel like you're being valued for what you're happy with, the rate that you're happy with and is worth your value to you as well as to them. And you enjoy work more, you end up naturally putting a bit more effort into it and all that kind of stuff. I find that comes through that.
I think the only time I would drop my price is if it's maybe a charity. That's something I've done before when it's like maybe like my way of giving. What are you laughing at?
because I have an opposite opinion to that.
Dear.
Yeah,
Dear.
yeah. I have been asked to do work and charity work, and I don't drop that.
Oh yeah, why?
Sorry, guys, if that makes me look like
Because
the devil or something
because
like
they've
that.
got money.
No, because there are other charities that naturally I find anyone wants to give and help. Of course they do. So, but no one's got the money to give to everything, have they?
No.
And there's certain things that are close to home for you that you want to go. Like, unless it's your preferred charity that you're doing some work for, then you naturally would. To me, it's a job. They still have a budget. The people generally probably...
You.
Oh, yeah, bastard.
Yes.
The people... No, majority of the people at a level that are doing organising, generally, especially if it's a proper charity, they actually are being paid to be that charity. It's a business.
Yeah, they've got... But that's fair enough.
Do you know what I mean?
Enough.
So I kind of look at it that way. Don't tell me I'm right. You've got the better mentality for
I
it.
kind of feel like that's me giving back, but maybe I should just be strict like you. It's like... We'll bleep that.
Yeah.
If you heard a bleep, you already did. And or if it's something like a cool travel opportunity.
Oh, yes. Okay, fair enough. That's a solid
Although
one.
being away from the business is... you can't work on your... But when you do internationals, right? Me and you have both done internationals, been blessed with that. You can't really do anything like admin. You're in it.
Yeah.
Away from home.
Yeah.
Any spare time you've got, you're generally chatting to the family, and it's full on. But you are traveling around the world.
Yeah.
You've been to New York recently, Paris. I've done places like Bali and Croatia, and it's mint. And those are the only times I generally do it a little bit less because there's so much other cost involved for the client to fly you there, put you up, feed you, all those costs. It can mount up. So I think that's the only time I've do it a little bit lower, really.
Yeah.
Because I like going away and sitting in the sun and...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it is just another opportunity because, like I say, when I recently shot in Paris and I was able to take my partner with me. So even though I was being paid for my work there, I was...
You can call her Bev.
Bev. Yeah, well, Bev. Yeah, Bev.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
partner.
what
It sounds like,
Bev. What?
You're a lesbian.
Christ, that laugh. Sorry, guys, about that laugh. That was a bit of a... Yeah. There's...
Do you like the new mics, by the way? They sound good, don't they?
I think...
I don't know. I can't hear it.
We got closer to the... I don't know why we got closer to the mics.
We've got...
Sorry.
I think because our client at Demcheek, they kept going, hi. Like that. Pilar kept going, hi. So they look dead serious.
Yes. I can't remember what I was saying now, but yeah, it was
Bev.
Yeah, Bev. Oh, Bev. Hello, Bev. We went to Paris and obviously there to work and to do that, but we're able to take advantage of being there.
Yeah, and having some time off.
Having some time there, really, and it was great.
I think the only time I've been able to do that was with my fiance Rach and our daughter Mia would Spain.
Yes. So
a friend of mine, didn't he, had a villa, and he's like, "Do you want a free holiday?" I'm like, "Keep talking." And he said, "Well, I've got a villa in Spain. I need some promo video and photos. If you want to do that, I'll give you the villa for free." And it was like $1.5 for the week. And so we just got flights. So I was able to take Rachel and Mia, and they were helping with, setting up the rooms and keeping the place tidy. But that's the only time I've been able to do that. But so going back to it, it's the only times I really reduce my costs. So, what are other ways of pricing? Oh, value pricing we were talking about.
Yeah.
What's that? Or do you want me to explain that?
Yeah, value. You explain it. I know it, but you explain it better.
I explain it better, is what he's saying. So value pricing essentially is, imagine a coffee shop comes to you and wants a promo, right? You're going to charge X amount for that little coffee shop in town. Then if, let me think, then Starbucks come along. That would be a good example. And they want you to create an ad that's going on telly. Naturally, you're going to have a bit of a crew and there's going to be more costs there. But the return for the value that they would get from a TV ad compared to a little coffee shop in town is much greater. So therefore, you charge more. So that's essentially what value pricing is. But some people would argue that, yes, there's a bigger crew for that maybe because it's going on a TV ad, but you are doing the same amount of work. So why would you charge more? So it's not something I've had to go into yet. I think my, costs have gone up as, I've grown, but I've never had Coca-Cola or Starbucks or someone come along.
That email I had this morning.
Well, no, so I've never had that, but yeah, it's interesting. You know, I guess these bigger companies have much bigger budgets, and it's the norm for them to charge, pay tens of thousands for, marketing.
Yeah.
So therefore you can, if they're coming to you, boom. Starbucks. I do like a Starbucks.
Yeah, you do like.
Anyone want to come to me? We'll do a
Costa.
little...
Oh no, Costa as well. Costa's fine.
I wouldn't say no to Costa. I prefer a Starbucks.
Just the coffee, but the company's good.
Yeah, the company's great. You're doing lovely.
Thank you.
See you everywhere. But I prefer Starbucks. Yeah. Value-based pricing. What's your thoughts? Fair? Not fair?
I think fair, but generally people that kind of disagree with it are people 9 to 5. They're employees, like I say. They're not business owners, no. which again is totally fine. It's just a different route of how you kind of make your money and make your living. But inevitably, when you kind of get those bigger budgets, it's not necessarily about getting a bigger payday for yourself, which is great because there will be a bit, but it gives that bigger budget and bigger flexibility on the job. Like you say, you're able to kind of get extra people in, extra cameramen, lighting, anything like that.
Dedicated people,
and that makes all the difference. And we've recently kind of
just having two of us has made all the difference. So imagine a guy that does sound. Just does sound.
Honestly, it will level the quality level up the quality instantly.
That's a good point, yeah.
But it also allows you to be more creative because you're not being that one man band kind of guy, and you can focus on what you want to do and then kind of.
What would you do if you could just have one job in the crew? Sorry, going off a tangent there. Like so say Starbucks come along, we've got 60 grand, right? We've got to assemble a team. What job do you want?
I feel I am like a camera guy, but like
you just want you'd be the cinematographer.
Yes. Like cinematographer.
Yeah.
Like I like to write right then. Like
you'd like to be in there. Getting all the shots. Doing the framing.
Yeah, framing, like making the compositions right. I like lighting. So I'm like, but
yeah, but you can't do both. This is a big shoot.
Yeah, but like I think you can't do both, but you can kind of isn't a cinematographer that kind of potentially direct the look of it?
You know what? I don't know. I think people just put that because it sounds better than videographer.
Yeah, I think
I'm a cinematographer. Cinnamon. I like cinnamon.
Yeah, I think yes. I like cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
I think I would definitely.
So you'd be the camera guy.
Yeah. Thanks.
I don't know what I do. I love the editing, right?
Yeah.
You know that I love the editing. I definitely want to do the editing, but I'd also want to be on set, maybe doing a bit of directing and just checking over your shoulder and go, "What's your verticals?"
Oops, my bad.
Or I don't know. Or just drinking coffee and sitting in those tall chairs, and you have director on the back, and just go, "Oi."
I'm sure.
Dave, get me another coffee.
I know nothing about that level, to be honest with you. Like first AC and gaffer and all that kind of stuff.
I've been on a shoot with as a camera op. That was with a blooper shoot, and they had 3 camera guys. They had a lighting guy, a sound guy, and then a director, and that was great. But anyway, I guess what you were saying makes a lot of sense. People think, oh yeah, you get more money for doing the same job, but it's not about that. Like going back to pricing. Have you ever asked a client, what's your anticipated budget for this project?
Talk to me.
And they go, I don't know. I've never had anyone answer me that.
No.
I will always ask a client what their budget is. And the client always thinks, gone back to pricing a little bit here, which is cool because that's what this episode's about. And they've never answered me. Never. I think maybe once. But they think, right? They think that if they say a price which is higher than what you would charge, that you're going to go for that higher price.
I think they're
scared of being ripped off.
Yeah, because it's personal to them.
Yeah.
So I think you would get. I think the next level that hopefully we're going to be going to would be dealing with bigger corporate people that the budget isn't personal to them. The budget
it's not out their pocket.
It's a department budget. Say, for instance, we deal with a marketing company with a bigger company, marketing department within a bigger company. They would have been given a budget and they need to spend the budget.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's right. So I just took on Anglian Water in head of immersive technologies division, and they have a budget. He's like, yeah, this is what we've got this year, and it's not out of their pocket. So I think for the smaller clients, you're right. It's like, that's coming out of my bank account. I'm seeing it. It's not
I don't
like
want to be ripped off. I want to be. It's exactly what you say. I don't want to be ripped off. But
I'm like, well, if you've got more money, I can get in an extra guy. I could, offer more.
Yeah.
But never.
They think. I think the proper person that I'd like to think of, a proper person, I don't know, a genuine person, like
a genuine guy,
a guy that we wouldn't go, oh, bang on, I'm going to just get more money for the same work just because someone said that's what the budget is. I would look at it and right then, for that, I'm able to do this for you.
I can get a guy that runs for coffees.
Yeah. And we get extra people in, we can get bigger sets, we can make the production level quality this much better with your budget. And so it can shoot yourself as well as them in the foot, because I'll go, well, what's it is? So you'll offer an X amount thinking, well, this is what generally it would cost for this. But then they have got a bigger budget and they go, right, then that's good, and we'll go from there. But if they showed the real budget, you would be more open to go, well, if you've got this budget, we can do this for you.
They never do it. They never do it. No, honestly, they go, well, I don't really know. What do you charge? What's your day rate? I go, I'm not a day rate. What do you charge
for a video, mate?
That's the biggest one.
What?
The amount of times it's like, hi, mate, what do you charge for a video? I'm like...
Well...
I'm like...
what do you want?
What do you want? Yeah, well, I just want a promo. And I'm like...
What's included?
What a promo of what? Yeah, my business. And you're like, oh my god, it's like pulling teeth. Honestly, I'm gonna need a little bit more information. And oh god, honestly,
I've lost clients from that. Well, not clients, lost potential clients because you ask for a brief.
You don't need them, trust me.
Yeah, it's right, isn't it? You don't need them, but like they will be like they just won't get back to me.
Oh, yeah, can you just
too
much hassle.
Yeah, it's too much hassle. But
I just need a rough price.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Is it a day? I don't know how long it's going to take.
And so when I've had people that have pressured me to go, they won't give me a brief, not even a detail brief, just a brief. I will then go, like you say, well, from what I think you would be suitable for your business, this much. Oh, well, that's out of my budget. I'm like, okay. But that's not down to my budget. That's down to me not having down to their budget, not having no real information on what they actually want.
Yeah,
I'll be like, right then, so 2-3 minute home promo videos, blah blah, the X amount. Oh, that's out of my budget. But really, all I needed was a 30-second video or something like that. That would have had a reduced cost to that. Yeah, that's just because I've not got it in their mind what they actually want.
Yeah, no, I've never had anyone like give me a price. What I generally do is if it's a little bit like vague, and I kind of know what they want, but they're not really locking it in. I'll do like it can cost anywhere between X amount and X amount. And little tip, you're always going with a high price first. So you could say a project of this nature can be anywhere between $3,000 to £1,000. So what they do then, this is a psychology thing. I think we spoke about this before. Is they will fixate on the higher price and think that if they can get it for the low one, they'll be all right. And generally, that's going to be around sort of your minimum that you would need to take that job on. So therefore, it just then gives them a bit of an idea, and then you'll find out if they're wanting. Yeah. Well, I thought it was going to be 200 quid. You're like, well, you're not for me.
No, yeah, definitely not. I think maybe we should call it a day on that one. I think we've spoken pretty much
or
everything.
A night.
A night, yes.
You don't know, but this is 9:00 at night because our schedule got moved because of family issues, and so we're here.
Because we're busy.
We're busy, yeah.
Busy guys.
So we're about to do our full day's work and then come here to shoot this. But
indeed.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah, that's the end of this podcast. Okay,
I'm so excited.
As ever, we'd like to hear from you guys. How do you price jobs? Is anything that we haven't discussed? Leave it in the comment section below, and we'll see you next time.